Hello, folks. All right. Howdy, folks. Welcome back. I told you I would be back. All kinds of devastation going on these little creek beds and stuff overflowing, taking out bridges and roadways and stuff like that. So I'd check your routes into your house and stuff. Make sure there's no valleys, little stretches like this that could get blown out and sever your connection to town or, anything like that. So all right, let's get started. Let's see here first. Welcome back. I told you I would be back, and here we are over at August 18th, 2024. You can see our little round object here and another one right there. And we'll get to this frame here in a minute. One right there, sorry, and one right here. That's the double barrel kind of effect there. But for the meantime, we're going to put this back into motion. And while that's loading up, I'm going to take a second to thank you all for taking a moment of your precious time, even in replay, to come here and be with this precious family. Okay. This is more than just a YouTube channel. Okay. This is a real family. Okay. And if you make it to the end of this show, you will understand what I mean. So let's just take a moment here, take a deep breath. I need to. I've had a very rough day today, so just trying to recuperate and get the show on the road. Okay, so thank you all, and let's get this show started, shall we? All the coyotes in the background say so, so I better just do it. They're all howling now. Woohoo, they're excited I started the show. All right, here we go. Let me back up here to our opening frame 024. Last night we were talking about these spire regions and how they act like compass needles. They point at a magnetic field, and some of these stronger ones are pointing at stuff that might be out of frame here or whatever. Okay, but we do see a lot of our activity happen around these spire regions. So let's just kind of pluck away at this here. We'll start marching forward here. Forward march, everybody. Let me just scooch a tad bit more there for you guys. And we still got a faint bit of music playing there. There we go. Okay, now, as we continue, you can see this little one moving out of frame here, something right in there. These are a little further out in the solar wind. But you can see its little wake that it's leaving. Okay, but that's not what we're the main event yet. Now, note this spire region pointing out here. Do you see how our instrument's been reacting to it for several frames now? Okay, so it's not just a CME, it's this big old long spike, right? Then out of our other region over here comes this event. There's a first one kind of caught right in here somewhere, still wrapped with a bunch of plasma. Here comes our second one with its little V-shaped Bioshock wrapped with a bunch of plasma. But as they extend further out, see another one, more activity coming out from down below here. Okay, let's go ahead and just zoom in on this frame here. Pull it over, slide it up, tilt it back, darken it a little bit. Okay. Do you see them now? Definitely one right here. Looks like we have one right here. Something else, a little third maybe there. Something trailing here. They're different diameter. But then, boy. Something else maybe in this region. Obviously something going on in there. Okay, but what I wanted to focus on was like these two here. I'm not sure if this is the ghost image of this. That might be the case there. But just kind of looked like a double-barreled shotgun almost for a second there. Meanwhile, you see your crisscrossing magnetic field lines back behind it. It's attached down this way. This one crosses and attaches up here. So I think that's the ghost image. I don't think that's two of them. To tell you the truth, to be honest about this. So there we are. Is they or that one? I don't know. That kind of look like two with another little one trailing down here. All kinds of them. They're all over the place, really. Another one down in here. You can see this V or this like almost teardrop type. Well, shock, not shock, but like a wake coming off of it with the plasma arm still reaching out to it. And if we could darken it just, whoops, tab it there. It's probably right in here somewhere is where I think I see it. Anyways, we got other fish to fry. All right, there's a lot going on in this frame here, or in this event. So we'll just kind of put it back there and continue on. Now, over here, you can see this. Oh, come on now. The V-shaped bow shock on the back side of this right here, of this event. Let me back up just a little bit. See, here's our round object with a little 2 eyes and nose and a smiley face on it right there. Anyways, there's the V-shaped bow shock as that thing leaves the frame there. Hopefully you can see that. If I slide it over a little better, maybe for you guys. There we go. All right, so there's the tail end of that event right there as that leaves the screen. Then out of this spire region over here comes our next event right there. Okay, and that was the closing frame right there. All right, so let me go ahead and put this back into motion here. Just let it play and see all the little pops and clicks and all the little moons and stuff scattering. Little V-shaped bow shocks and wakes being left by these objects. Each, different ones leaving different kind of trails as they go. Okay, so there's your activity for today, August 18th. All right, and just like I said, these spire regions almost can kind of tell that something's coming approaching there. And those are our sunspots. The sunspots are being created by these magnetic fields interacting with the sun, with the corona. The corona is the magnetic field of the sun generated by the dynamo inside of it. Okay, now I need to brighten this back up, Lord. It's a very frustrating day. I'm trying to hold my temper here. Okay. Solar flux indices up at 231. It's up 1 point, and we're up back in the red here again. So we got to watch this. It's kind of starting to climb. It reversed, start climbing again. Sunspot number counts even at 170, and our area is growing by 200. It's back into the yellow. Really quick, I want to pop this open. Okay. So, just real quick before we get into that, our retreating area 3784, our bipolar morphism reverse polarity sunspot right there, finally kind of getting closer to leaving and rounding the limb right there. So that thing's getting, more and more out of range every moment. Meanwhile, 3794, little configuration starting to form there. And then this complex down here, 3790. This is the one everybody's kind of watching next right here. And then also 3792. It's got another little weird kind of, well, we'll see what happens here. But here we have blue over red again. So we're going to have to watch these things. This whole area is just acting weird. Okay. And I'm telling you, I think it's because of these objects. Now, let me back. Oh, wait. Well, real quick to back over. This region also 3795, rounding the limb right now, coming into view is going to be another region that will be, following over the next couple weeks here. So let's now go back and now slide over and now scroll down. There we go. Now there's your GOES X-ray flux for today. Okay, and you can see we had kind of a bumpy ride here, but boom, 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 boom. All those little objects and their little wakes that we saw just a little bit ago. And, some of that activity kind of activating the GOES X-ray flux today in between us and the satellite, or between the sun and the satellite. Now, we had that last little blast right there, and as we go into tomorrow with a little blast right here, and then another little spike, another just small M flares, but it's some little activity right there already going into tomorrow. Would you guys like to take a peek at this? A little peek into the future? No? You don't want to come over here and see what's hiding under this little thing. You know what? Even if we refreshed it and got every last little bit of data, you don't want to see this, huh? Well, tough. We're going to see it anyway. All right. You guys are good sports. You play along sometimes. I'm just kidding around, but add a little levity to this a little bit to kind of keep you guys sane. Okay, there's a little peek at your activity already going into tomorrow, the 19th here, and this appears to be something going on here. You see a little black core right there, kind of. Well, it's right there, and it seems to move out a little bit. I don't know. We need more data. Meanwhile, you can see a bunch of other little stuff scattering. Remember the other day we saw stuff going in like we're seeing down here? See stuff flowing inward? I bet it's hitting, bouncing off, and ricocheting off at all these different angles. Some of these have little magnetic fields, and they grab plasma as they come off. I don't know. Let me move my hand out of the way. There's one up there, too. Whoa, what was that? Nuh-uh. Okay, let's just do it. I'm just going to zoom in. I'm not going to say anything, and I'm just going to let you guys look at this event right there and tell me what you see. I don't know. Maybe I got wild imagination, or maybe there's just let me make sure critters aren't coming in there. Trying to stay right at the door. Do not come in. Okay. Well. Interesting capture there. I'll let you be the judge of what's going on there. Let's just say when I was younger, there was a show on TV, and they went to places man never went before. Boldly go. Oh boy. Very interesting. Don't be surprised to see something like that in the skies here pretty soon. I'll have to go out and look up tonight once I'm done with the show, I guess. Or tomorrow. Meanwhile, we have all kinds of little things going on there. Aren't you glad we took a look? To boldly go where no man's gone before, the new frontier. Okay, let's pull back. Now, things have changed here. Our geomagnetic forecast for the 19th is now down to G0. So we got 3 days of G0, which is good news. I hope that's the case. I would love that. We've had enough little surprises and enough, enough geomagnetic activity for the meantime. Meanwhile, X flare potential still up 20%, M flare 70%. We did have an M2.4 today out of 3784. Now, here at our sunspots, 3784 being the beta gamma delta, but it's declining. Okay, 3790 is beta gamma, but it's growing. That's the one we're going to watch next. Is 3790 right there. Meanwhile, still back over here at our KP index, we have this geomagnetic storm, the G3, that kind of caught people off guard. We're expecting it today instead of yesterday. Well, most were. Okay, I just kind of stick with my 3 day rule, and it hit on the third day right there. But after that, just a little brief up swoop and then right back down to kind of normal activity here. Okay, so that's good. I love normal activity. All right. Meanwhile, Aurora's nice and quiet. Okay, that's what we need. It's getting active again, so we'll have to kind of keep eye on what's going on here real quick. I want to open the tracker and do some track lacking, since we are lacking some tracking. I swear I clicked on it. Oh, it's coming. This is taking a minute. Or maybe it's not. Then, never mind. We'll come over here, click on this one really quick. All I really want to point out is there's no Earth-directed CMEs, but our double impact thing there was still... I'm not necessarily going to load this all up. Our double impact was supposed to be 18th, 19th right now during this time frame or whatever. So it seems that we had the unexpected one here on the 17th, and it wasn't this double bump. So I wouldn't be surprised, though, something sneaks in still here in these days. I don't know. It's something off about this one a little bit. But meanwhile, it looks like our geomagnetic storming is over. So that little bump effect didn't really happen. It was just the one. Meanwhile, here's your latest CME kind of coming down this way. All right. What I want to do is come back over here. Let's see. We already covered that. Move over here to spaceweather.com real quick here. The sunspot of interest, new sunspot, sunspot AR 3790. Try saying sunspot AR without saying sunspot. All right, sunspot AR 3790 is growing rapidly and merits watching, a potential source of strong flares. Okay, in the days ahead. Already, it has a beta gamma magnetic field that harbors energy for M-class solar flares, and further development could lead to X-class eruptions. Okay, that's what we all kind of feel the same way. So here's a nice little picture of the afterglow after the CME. Okay, a CME that hit Earth's magnetic field on the 17th, sparking a brief but strong G3 magnetic storm. And it was bad timing for skywatchers in Europe and North America, but there was some afterglow, which makes for a pretty sunset right there, a pretty picture right there. So you can come on over and check that out. Meanwhile, let's come on over to the Schumann. Now, after this event yesterday, we had some good continuity, a little scooping and scratching, and then after last night's show, pretty good intense blast right there. Tapered off, another good blast right here. And then tapered off. We had a little irritation right there, but nothing too bad. Okay, that shows that there was pressure still down below right there. It built up, relieved, built up, relieved, tapered off, built up again, relieved. So we had kind of a little roller coaster ride today. Okay, this messes with your moods in the background. Okay, it's also an indication of pressure down below. We did have some pressure right at the cusp of pressure. So pressure builds up, something happens and releases, it can build up really fast again and then taper off. We start to go normal, but then a little bit of pressure comes rising again. Boom, we start to scrape and grind down at the core. All right, and then our latest thing. No, no. Let me get refresh data. Dang it, here we go again. Right as I started the show here, we got another blast. So, for some people, this energizes people. For other people, aches and pains. Let me tell you something about this 7.83. You need this frequency. This is our magnetic field hums at 7.83. If this frequency is missing, you will go insane. They forgot or just didn't put the 7.83 Schumann resonance aboard a Russian spacecraft, and both Russian cosmonauts went insane and killed each other in the capsule. You need that 7.83 that keeps you calm, keeps you kind of mellow. That's why we need good continuity. We need good solid green line. None of this stuff at all. We used to just have one smooth green line. No one ever came over to this instrument because this stuff wasn't happening. Okay, it was just one solid smooth green line. There wasn't even these ones down below. All right, it was just a boring instrument to look at. Now all of a sudden there's activity on it, and they're wondering what's going on. Well, you got your pressure growing down below. Is your core and your shell grinding, and they emit low frequency waves but very strong. This is 0 through 40. Okay, so you're talking 0, 0.001, 0.002, 0. There are tons of frequencies in between 0 and 1. In between 1 and 2, and between 2 and 3. Okay, so there are all kinds of frequencies, very, very intense. Okay, and it can, kind of wreak havoc on your mood. So this is going on in the background. You had a little roller coaster ride today, didn't you? Okay, so pressure building up. Here we go. We're starting to grind again right here at the very end. Your Van Allen belts are your magnetic field that emits from the surface of the planet. Well, it comes out of the, what the hell? Oh, we got mountain lion. I thought I just saw it in the yard, but it's not. Anyways, we got our core, and it spins inside the shell. That dynamo projects out of the planet the electromagnetic field that protects us, the 7.83. That field is electromagnetic. It hums like a high voltage wire, and it hums at 7.83. We need that 7.83. So does every animal on the face of this planet. We all are used to that because we're born from this planet. But when we get disruptions in it like this really disturbs you in the background without you knowing. Okay. And if you're getting well adjusted to these spikes and you know what to expect, all of a sudden you're getting irritation or something, you're doing fine, but it can affect the other people around you and they can change out of character. All right. So important to understand that this is going on in the background. It affects you emotionally in the background without you knowing it. And that's why the spiritual work is so vital at the end of the show as well. Okay. Also, indicator of pressure down below. This grinding down below goes up through the magma, up through the crust, and emanates from the surface of the planet. This grinding frequency then emanates from the crust outward into space. It wants to go out into space, but it hits the ionosphere. The ionosphere being like the magnetic field. Okay, it bounces off that, comes back down as an echo. This instrument detects those echoes. When you hear trumpet blasts coming from the sky, it's because it's bouncing off of the ionosphere. The noise appears to be coming from up in the sky, but it's actually being generated down below, emanating from the surface, going airborne and bouncing off the ionosphere, coming down. That's why people hear the trumpet blasts coming from the sky while the ground underneath them is rumbling. Oh, yeah, your Skyquake mystery is solved. But there you go. There's your activity for today. Let's come on over here. Okay, here we are with this storm going on. Where's my wind, please? Oh, there it goes. All right, here's the storm going on. Now it's shifted from Japan a little bit further out here off the Kamchatka. So there's that storm right there with good vorticity. Meanwhile, we have our hurricane over here that's kind of moved up and is moving on out. Okay, so that's good. And then, ooh, our flow here looks a lot better. All right, so what we're going to do is set that right there and come over here and change it to sand. Okay, there's your sand right there in yellow. Ooh. All right, so here's our plume. Yellow being more intense, or the white being more intense, yellow, and then green less. All right, so here's our plume coming off, but it's rotating around like this, and it breaks it up. It makes this arm reach up and then come down. And look here, it broke it up. There's a break right there. There's a break right here. There's a break right there. And what happens is this is our conveyor belt structure from our thermal patterns underneath that produce the hurricanes. This sand is quelling those hurricanes because it's so dense that it stops the convection. It doesn't stop it. It just halts it and keeps the towers from getting so tall. Okay. Thus, they don't can't get as strong enough to create hurricanes. But we have the potential for hurricane just propagation one after another, and it's the sand that's breaking it up. Meanwhile, here we are with little breakups. What's good is our flow has kind of come back in. This regional flow right here. We do have a small, well, we did have this small vortex right here, and it's taking some of the sand and whipping it back out into the country. We want that stuff to stop. We want all the sand to come across here. Really, we do, because it's halting hurricane genesis. And we should be on our 25th hurricane right now. You know, there should be 8 to 10 evenly spaced hurricanes going around this thing, this whole conveyor belt structure. But the sandstorms have halted a lot of that production. But every time we get a break, we get a hurricane. So we got to watch these breaks now. You can see how it spreads out through the Caribbean here. That's good too. I like this arm reaching through here because that's going to, dampen a lot of the genesis in this region, kind of limiting it, just limiting it to the Gulf region there. I need to take a sip of water and a deep breath. Sunday's supposed to be my day of rest. I always go instead. All right. That's my day of service. All right. Let me take this out the way here. You see this really dense plume going on here in Saudi Arabia, over the Red Sea here, creeping up through this whole area. Watch out. That's going to turn into one big, nasty, sandy mess. Then up here, we still got this going on up in China, up by the Gobi Desert. Okay, meanwhile, it was blasting India with just sand, but we have the split now that's taking a lot of this down and around India for the moment here. Okay, and I'll put the winds back on here, and you'll see what I'm talking about. Please, can we have that back? Okay, see, it used to just go straight across here. Now it's taking this dip. We have a hot spot down here that's pulled air down now. We also have this vortex out here that's still pulling air from the southern hemisphere across the equator into the northern hemisphere. Crazy, crazy stuff. And it's just holding the sandstorm right there right there at that area. You see the spin off right here, throwing sand this way back into this region. So they're in for it now. They're gonna get big old nasty sandstorm. See all this white stuff that's still back here on the other side of the Red Sea is going to cross the Red Sea here. Or no. Yeah, Caspian Sea. Anyways, into Saudi Arabia here. That's the Red Sea. Okay. Now let's get back here. There's your sandstorm report there. Sorry, I got that wrong there. Oh, now I want to come over to our SO2 here. Okay, well, let's start over here in America. Now, this is SO2. This is the sulfur dioxide, not CO2, SO2, sulfur dioxide. This is the gas that surrounds the magma down below. And as you can see, we have a country divided here, bleeding out on one side, speckled on the other. The other side is, well, perforations in the crust, and this side is all perforations too. And whoosh, there's your country divided. All right, so now let's do our fire report as well. We're going to tack on the fires and out of here. So, again, with this, just kind of, sorry, I got to reiterate this and repeat this every night, but there's your, now part of our report, okay? Fire report. Because of SO2 emissions coming out of the ground, because of pressure down below. Oh, pressure that was caused from the sun. Oh, yeah, the pressure that we built up because of geomagnetic impacts from the sun. Okay, results in pressure down below pushes out this SO2 super hot, so hot that it causes spontaneous combustion of any of the surrounding vegetation. You're getting fire sparked from underground. Okay. Here they were up in Canada. That was a big issue up in Canada last season. Now this activity has crept further south into the lower 48. Well, here we are in Washington. We had, more issues. They've kind of gotten theirs under control. They got a good spot right there. I'd watch that one carefully. For firefighters out there, you should come over to this map and study this map. I'd watch that area right there carefully. It doesn't have a fire yet. You see what I'm saying? Areas that are dark purple that don't have a fire, I would have a crew on that site, so anything pops out, you can take care of it right away. Anywho, you can see a lot of fire activity here in Oregon from our plume that opened up there. Coming down, it was creeping down through California. Here's a fire at this site right there. Oh, you leaving, Jeremy? Well, you can always come back and see the replay. Have a good night, bud. All right, back to our report. Now it's over here in Utah, or up here towards Idaho, or what's this? Looked like up more by Wyoming. Anyways, it was creeping further south here down into Mexico. That activity seems to have retreated for now. It was creeping east of this line, the middle line right here. But that activity seems to have diminished too. Meanwhile, we do have this one right here. This is our new little site right here. Just outside of Salt Lake City up here. So we'll have to take a little peek on the earthquake map. It's a little more detailed. But there you go. There's your fire reports. All because of SO2. All right. Every time we get pressure from the sun, it can cause fires from underground. Oh, okay. Well, keep working. You can work and listen at the same time. That's the way to do it, bud. All right. Purple Island of Cuba, starting to smell like, sulfur on that island. Same with Jamaica here. Both are really dark emission sites, okay? Did we not get fires off of there? Oh, that's what happened. Okay. All right, sorry. No. You see these islands right here? When I take away the islands, you see all the SO2, individual little SO2 plumes right there? Right here. Now watch when I let go of the arrow. Bingo. All your barrier islands here are having SO2 emissions. Yes or no? Yes or no? All right. We're all in agreement. Good. And as we come down through South America, you can see intense plumes all along the shoreline here. We always kind of come through here, check this area. It was very dense, pocketed little tight squares like these. These are all individual sites, okay? And then we have this naked region right here. Yes, I said naked. This region right here where a bunch of these used to be and now have disappeared because of the big quake activity that we had there. It was right next to our fulcrum spot. It's nice and dark tonight. The secondary one's pretty well defined. That one's defined. Our new one's still kind of hanging out. So we're at our regular kind of pressure, it seems like. Down through here, it emits a lot. See the big plume coming out into the Pacific. And this release of pressure through SO2 emissions keeps the earthquake magnitude down on the plate barriers here. All right, let's see what kind of face we got tonight. Good, no face. All right, this is all good. I've seen it all day today anyway, so bingo. We don't need it on the show, too. Whew. Into China, very intense emissions coming out of this region, okay? They're spewing SO2 and they're maxing out. Some of these sites got black diamonds like this, that black being the most on the scale. It goes into black right here. You can't tell. So, very intense emissions coming out of that region. They have porous ground too, okay? So this gas comes up, it rattles a lot of stuff loose on its way up, little vines, imagine root structure type tunnels that come up from down below, up through different layers of strata, zigzag all their way up through the sand and stuff, and finally make it to the surface. All right, and that's what's happening here. So all this stuff is like pushing up through little canals, up through the ground, through the surface. Then rain lands on it. That water goes down through those canals, washing away some of that loosened up dirt. Then gas comes back out, opening the hole bigger. Water goes in, making it bigger, back and forth, and eventually this place, if they don't pay attention and get on board real fast, that place is gonna dissolve. It won't even have a chance to strike. There won't be any land from which to strike from. It will dissolve. It will sinkhole down into the ground if they don't pay attention real quick. Over here in Japan, still having their issues as well because they got, well, volcanic island. All right, there's four plate boundaries right there, all come together. It's a precarious spot to build a big civilization. Meanwhile, here, Fulcrum Point, Taiwan, we got, medium type earthquake activity starting to happen, relieving some pressure. We're still seeing SO2 out of this, though, which is good. It's still being a relief valve of some kind, venting pressure, okay? Okay, now into our purple island of Java, you can see here, it's got a lot of SO2 emissions. Our two main spots right here, also in the canal here, right in the middle. We got Krakatau right out here in the bay. So just behind Krakatau, right in the straits right here, in the Sunda Straits, there's some kind of either underwater emission site right there, but it looks like we have a very intense emission site in the canal, which is different. I don't know if that wind blew that out there. Let's go check the wind because, yeah, well, I don't know. That looks more. Anyways, whether it is or not, we have our sites here that emit a lot of SO2. You see our little islands. They're all emitting SO2 through this region too. Okay, something else I want to take you down to is our quake origination spot here at Fiji. Okay, it's starting to emit SO2 now as well. And then our plate boundary system right here, the entrance to it is the end of a crack. What happens when you get a crack in your windshield? It spreads. Well, it spread all the way to an end point right here, which is like the end of a crack or whatever, and that's where your pressure kind of starts to relieve and come through the system. This island right here with these two SO2 emission sites right here relieves some of the pressure as it's coming through here. Some of these little islands right through here, a little quiet tonight, but this main island, a lot of SO2 coming out of here. quiet tonight for there. But this one was the one I want to point out right now. The two emission sites here. It's like a slow leak on a bicycle tube. It relieves a lot of the pressure as it comes in through here.
All right.
Tasmania. Now New Zealand as well. Okay. Let's change this over now to, you can see Europe. Also, something else I need to point out here real quick. Up here by the top of the world, here's our coastline along the Arctic, right? Here you can see some of these emission sites that are really far north up here in the Siberia and tundra way up far north. Okay, this is where we're seeing a lot of our heat plumes in the water and out there too. And here we have emission sites up by Norway, Sweden, way up here. Okay. So Europe's not free of this. They got speckled spots all over the place. India has darkened up and filled in. They got a few spots now that are more intense, that are leaking, more and more. So that whole region darkening, and the Himalayas blocking a lot of that gas and keeping it in that region, not allowing it to escape over to here. No emissions from this site because this is an old ancient seabed. The pressure from the water on top of this for eons packed the seabed so densely that once the water evaporated, this dense seabed here is so thick and like concrete that SO2 emissions don't come out of this region. Okay, but surrounding it, you see it does. See, if they had a bunch of relief right here, it wouldn't be so intense on this side. See what I'm saying? Then you can see how it goes around the fringe of it. Okay. Now, back to this region over here. They're starting to get more and more intense sites, starting to spread here and there. Okay, it's reaching all the way down into this area now as well. That's the Red Sea. Okay, so we did that. Now we're going to come over here to, okay, we're going to do the oceans. Everybody take a deep breath and exhale. So here we are with our thermal anomaly structures. Still pretty similar over here in the Atlantic. Hasn't really grown or changed much. There's a small little branch reaching down this way. Little bit more intense in this region, slowly but surely. Meanwhile, we got our new little hot spot growing here, right off the coast of South America here on the equator. This hot, cold right next to each other, especially on the equator here. We'll probably see some vortex action there. Meantime, we got up here in the Gulf Coast now, we got a hot water anomaly spot starting to emerge right there. Cold water inundation still kind of hugging the coast there. But meanwhile, over here on this side of the Pacific, this comma-shaped structure is starting to fill back in. The tail kind of faded and broke away, and it was just round. Now the tail's kind of filling back in with yellow, okay, showing it more heat. We'll come back to this here. Meanwhile, Tamumasi, look at this. It's just going off here. It's spreading, growing. We're getting 2 places of cold water inundation. And, it looks like a dog with eyes, snout out here, and ears up here. Like a wolf or something. All right, then as we continue, you can see these spots all breaking out now down here around New Guinea, these islands here. Remember I was showing you, there was no SO2 emissions today, and now it's starting to back up, and we're starting to see hot spots popping out. Maybe that's why we're not seeing SO2 so much through that region now, is because we're having venting underwater. Meanwhile, here's your little island that has the SO2 emissions, and note that there's cold water here at the tip. It's not super yellow or hot around it because it's venting the pressure in that region. Okay. Also over here, here's Java, our other relief valve, doing its job, and you see the cold water inundation over here. Probably some of the coldest water on the planet right here. See how bright blue, whatever that denotes the colder temperatures. There isn't cold water like this anywhere except by the Arctic. And this is around the equator, surrounding a bunch of hot spots. There's got to be some kind of well, there is a lower ocean, bodies of water that are lower in the crust, lower in the strata of the Earth's crust. It's the crust, all in all, is thin overall compared to the size of the Earth, but compared to us, it's pretty thick, and there's other strata in there. And I believe that we might be seeing cold water coming out of another strata down below being this cold around water this hot. Okay, we're seeing hot water being pushed up, right? Or hot water and magma being pushed up. Well, we could see cold water being pushed up from other stratas, and that could be an indication. We get pressure coming up, cold water coming up. It relieves the pressure and keeps this area of cold water there. You can just see it. It's crazy. Okay, a few other little spots around. Now we're going to put on the wind. Everybody take a deep breath. And exhale. All right, here's your corresponding wind patterns that correspond with your thermal heat anomalies, okay? Just kind of let that sit there and flow for a second so you can see how these wind patterns are rotating around hot spots. Hot and cold come together, cause vorticity. Here's our hot and cold causing vorticity here. See, hot, cold. Yes, no. All right, cool. I guess you're paying attention. I love that. All right, so there's your kind of weather patterns being caused by thermal production. It's crazy. And our weather is no longer controlled by like the upper and lower jet streams anymore. It's controlled from this layer. And this layer actually reaches up into the lower jet stream. And then we have, atmospheric compression from these solar events pushes downward as well on our atmosphere. So we have stuff pushing down as well as this reaching up, and it's taking over our upper jet streams. They're complying to this conveyor belt type structure. Okay, now it changes up from time to time when we get a new opening. We used to have a nice round conveyor belt, not round but oval, when we had a yellow bar shape. But when you get breakups in that yellow bar, well, then you get independent vortexes. Okay. Now with this pattern right here, what was doing for a long time was keeping stuff off the coast. It was keeping stuff that would approach the coast coming down, and then would take it back out to sea. Now we have this reverse rotation here. See the cold water inundation along the coast is just barely hanging on, but you got hot water here. And there's your rotation right here, right by the cold hot pocket. Okay, now this is looking weather from this spot right here. Weather is kind of splitting. Okay, let's go right here. It's splitting and going north here, and now it's starting to come inland. See this? It used to be just this solid wall that ran the coast and went back out. Now with this rotation here, it's actually starting to feed stuff inland. So you're going to start to see some weather coming inland now into California. You see how these air patterns are starting to form around the hot cold structure interfacing with the land and the valley. We have, remember, deep valley right here, mountainous structure right here. So it hits that, runs north and going up and around. Meanwhile, there's a big hot pocket growing here, right off the coast. These little fingers, inundation has been kind of reaching inward back down this way towards the coast. We did have a good a good solid band of cold water here that was fending off pressure, but we haven't seen enough earthquake activity in the Juan de Fuca, and now the Juan de Fuca is filling up with this. With this. Do you see what I'm saying? Now let me take the wind off of there. Probably making you guys seasick. So we're going to keep that up right there. That is our, well, fulcrum point. Now, let's move on over here to our earthquakes. Okay, we'll just jump in, standard earthquake report. Nothing right around Fiji, but down here we have 4.4 down at 528. That's more like our normal activity, 4.4. Backed up with a 4.3 right next to it at the same depth, pretty much 450 or 514. So 2 less than 4.5. Okay, we're used to seeing 1 4.5. So 2 of them at a little less. Okay, entering the system, we got the island relieving pressure. Very quiet up through there. Remember, we saw no SO2 emissions, but we did start to see heat anomalies through here now. Okay, we come into the island here. Remember, we saw a lot of SO2 emissions around this island. We're also having quake activity at the surface here on the plate boundary at 4.8. Okay, as we come into our little deep pocket right here, here we have a 4.5. It's not all that deep, though. It's not on the plate boundary. Wow, that's a different type of quake right there. Well, I almost wonder if that depth is correct, because usually that's right along the plate boundary. But here we are, these volcanic islands that grew right next to the plate boundary, right? Okay, so you see these flanks of the volcanoes that reach down a little deeper to the ocean floor here. There we go. And then there's like a little plateau comes out a little bit. Hopefully you guys see that little tiny comes down, flank comes out. There's a little plateau and then it drops deeper. Right on that plateau edge. And at 10, yeah, that's a like a weak zone right along the flank of this. There's like little layers that run along the edge here. So it's still at the foot of this volcanic like plateau area underwater there. Okay. Now we come into Java, Sumatra, no quake activity through there today, nice and quiet, no fulcrum point quake up here, all through this region. So please, Lord, can we have that? In these little straits through here, see this little row of islands growing, a little volcanic ridge underwater here. We can go 4.5 down at 44. That tells me it's on the, yeah, the moon was insane tonight. No wonder why I'm insane tonight. All right, mid-range 4 down to 44. Little volcanic vent down there. See these islands that grew over here. But it's in this little straits with this volcanic ridge right there. Coming up to here where we had our bigger quake before, our old weak spot, 4.5 down at 87. It's not here on this fulcrum, but I will take any kind of pressure relief in this area. 5.7 down at 37. That's right on the... Please close that out. Thank you. You see this whole plateau area right here, that this island, they're all sitting like right on top of this table. Okay, the table drops off. There's a ledge right there, and it gets deeper and deeper all the way down to this crack in the ocean floor. You see this like funnel type valley that usually funnels water down in there. Right on the edge of this plateau is that weak area. We're lucky it didn't set off like a little underwater landslide in that area. Because look, you see how this stuff looks like it has slidden away before, maybe? We'll watch that region kind of carefully. It looks like a little pointer coming in right here, too. So here's a good fulcrum point spot, but no quake. You can see how it took this whole plate boundary and shoved it out like Well, like a tractor blade pushing some snow out. Boom. Push this island up out of the water. Boom. Push that up. Took the whole. This used to connect. It used to be right there. And something came along and went like that and pushed those two islands up. And now this plate boundary gets stretched out over here too. Fulcrum point, very, very crucial fulcrum point. We need more quake activity out of that thing. It relieves pressure for this whole area. Meanwhile, here we are. Multi-plate boundary intersection here with the volcano, with big old city. And quake activity right outside of Tokyo, 5 down at 35, and a 4.7 down at 35. Note how this plate boundary runs right across their island, so not a good safe place to live. Hail bowling ball size? Yes, there will be bowling ball size hail. They'll be even bigger. It will. You don't want to be around for it. Meanwhile, you come up to the Kamchatka here where we had our bigger quake the other day, and we're still seeing a little bit of quake activity out here, 5.0 at 35. Now, there was a huge volcanic eruption right after that quake. So imagine these people up here feel the quake and then look over and this volcano, boom! So they're probably a little rattled in that area, and for good reason. They should pay attention. 4.4 down at 53 right there. Okay. Before we go into America, let's just finish off the rest of the globe real quick. Fulcrum point. 4.4 down at 209. And this place is going to rattle and roll here. 4.4 down at 10. A little warning shot across the bow right there. And we had quake activity in the Holy Land the other day too. So, here we go. Well. What do we have here? A 4.6 at a depth of 7 and a 4.4 at a depth of 10. Now, when we talk about diverse quakes, it's because they're in a spot that you don't usually see quake activity. There's no reason for it. There's no plate boundaries. There's no perforations in the crust. There's not, spots like this. So this makes me want to kind of come over here. There's your diverse quake real quick. I want to change over to the SO2 here. Oops. Go back to their time. Okay. See what I'm getting at here? Pressure down below, setting off quakes here. This is your diverse quakes, all right? It's not a plate boundary. It's not your typical site. There's no reason for quakes being there except for, we have SO2 emission sites in that region. Pressure down below, pushing up underneath Australia, causing diverse quakes. There's your diverse quake for the night. Coming over to South America and Central America really quick. Cocos plate, 4.4 at the surface, 4.3 at the surface. A little bit of motion on that plate right there. I want a magnitude check out here really quick. 3.8 and 3.4, 3.8, a little higher than our normal magnitude out here, so indicator of pressure still down below. Here's our plate boundary. Now we're starting to see 5.2 along this plate boundary now, so we have strong SO2 emissions coming out of there. Back to their time real quick. Bingo. See? So we were talking about this relieving pressure before, and it's going at its maximum. It's trying to do the best it can, but it's not enough. When we get pressure down below, pop out 5.2 right there. That probably relieves some pressure in the area for a little while. Meanwhile, out here on this plate boundary, this is almost like a fulcrum point in itself, this whole bulge, but not right at the tip. So I'm not going to call that a fulcrum point. That's more of a plate boundary right there. 4.7. Also, you see these little row of islands right here, these volcanic islands sticking up. I want to come right through that. Oh, they're not doing it today. It had that same little run of plume of SO2 like up here. Those little islands all had little SO2 plumes coming out of them right here a while back, but not doing it anymore. We got a 4.7 relieving pressure in the area instead. Whew. Lord help me. I'm just trying to breathe. Okay, let's go all magnitude and into America. Marca. Okay, pressure being relieved over here at the Kamchatka, so not a lot of activity along our volcanic system here. One little small one, one another little small one. Not even a good quake out here to take a magnitude measurement. Coming into our fulcrum, I want the biggest 2.3. 2.7 coming up this fulcrum right there. Inside fulcrum 2.5. So that's good. That's pressure's down to like 2.5. So that's good for that region. We come into here. A little quake swarming, not quake swarming, but little micro quaking right here at Rainier. And here at St. Helens, just indication of, pressure down below. Earthquakes at volcanic sites means pressure down below. Fulcrum point really, that's so weak. All right, now, sorry I'm bouncing all over the place tonight. I'm just trying to get through this so we can get to the spiritual report. But this has to be done as well. Where am I going, Lord? Oh, yeah. Now, back to this. The little point here above the Bay Area, our little point right here above the Bay Area is our fulcrum point. Okay, so it comes straight out from that point. Whoops. Yeah, I'm kind of trying to position this. Comes straight out from that point and runs the whole zigzag up through that zone. Our cold water inundation was hugging this little coastline right here, and you see there's a plate boundary right there. Right there. Okay. This whole plate is just one piece. It's a broken off piece that's in between this one and this one. We need to see earthquake activity in there because, well, here's your point. You come straight out and go zigzagging up, right? Well, there's all inside the Juan de Fuca plate now. All this is inside the Juan de Fuca plate. Now, okay, and then your cold water inundation area right there is really matching up with your coastal boundary right here, isn't it? We need to see mid-range 4 and 5 activity out here, relieving pressure. When we look out here, there's a couple little seamounts out in here and stuff. But here in this area where we're seeing a lot of our hot water being generated, I don't see a lot of seamounts out here. I mean, is it coming out of this stuff? Did like some of these tear open or what? But you can see there's little tiny ones out here, but not a lot to, unless they're all going. But right off the coast there, okay? There's your point. There's your Juan de Fuca, and then the other plate boundary coming down like that. All right. Be very careful through that area. Watch your quakes carefully, okay? And watch the sun carefully, too. Meanwhile, we're having quake swarming here at the geysers, relieving energy, nothing really pushed inland. Nothing too much in the bay. Here's on the Pacific plate, just a 1.7. Sorry, we're going down. Little activity on the plate boundary here on the San Andreas. Remember, San Andreas is a plate boundary. Our quake swarming still going on down here. These are not aftershocks from a 5. This is a quake swarm. And a little magnitude check. Ooh, we're pumping 2.5s today. Yeah, that's good. Good. I'd rather see a bunch of 2.5s like that, not scaring, shaking, destroying stuff, but releasing a lot of energy. No big deal. 1.9. What I want to check down in this region now is here's our site where we had our quake in the region. Nothing big, but still showing possibility for movement in that region. Okay, our biggest quake was out here at 2. Okay, but I want to come down here. 2.8 Progresso. How's our quake swarming doing around this region? Not swarming anymore, but still a few microquakes there. A few there. All right, now let me zoom back out. You guys are so patient as I just run through this stuff, probably spinning in circles. 2.0 here in Texas. Quick, that's about our biggest magnitude. 2.2. Okay, so a few little 2s going on in Texas. We're leaving pressure in that region as well. Okay, we got man-made perforations in the crust doing Mother Nature's job there for it. Little Oklahoma quake as well. Yep, nothing along the Craton today, so that's good. And we have finished the quake report. Whew. Okay, let me get rid of some of these instruments now for volcano. I'm gonna take that one down. Get rid of that one. We need that. Okay, you guys are hanging tough. All right. 34 and 31 is 65. We have 65 active volcanoes. Okay. All this stuff started happening to me about 7 years ago. And back then, there was only one volcano and it was very quiet. If I'd have told you back then we would have 65 active volcanoes, you would have said, Brian, you're crazy. Well, here we are, almost 7 years later, and I am crazy still about you. I want you to look at this ash plume or this volcanic eruption here. Okay. Think of the mountains that are around you that aren't doing this, but one day looking over and all of a sudden seeing something like this coming out of the mountains next to you. It would be kind of horrifying. All right. So even though it's just a picture, you got to wrap your mind around the reality of what's going on. And then look at all this ash that goes up in the air. Okay, very, a very high concentration of particulates here. All right, it's very densely packed particulates that spread out. All right, so you're talking quadrillions and quadrillions and quadrillions of little tiny ash particles that are just every day going up into our atmosphere, adding to the sponge, making for a bigger sponge. All right, that's Shibaloo. No, that was that's Sabancaya. Oh, I don't know. Where's your little tab? Copious ash columns from Shibaloo's. Yeah, 2 centers and it's got 2 plumes, one out of this mountain and then the mountain next to it doing the same thing. Wouldn't that be a little terrifying? Not just one mountain, but seeing the one next to it doing it too, and all of it going up in one big huge plume. Right after they had a 7.0, and then this thing starts doing this. You'd be rattled. So Shibaloosh, the elevation not reported, 1,900 meters right there. IBU at 7,000 feet. White Island still going off 4,000 feet. Fuego 15, Sabancaya 22, and that was just in the last few minutes. Okay. Let's get into today, which is now yesterday. Well, because time flies so fast at this channel. Look at all the active volcanoes all through that area, that whole chain of islands right there. Okay. Still all active. Up here, the Kamchatka, you got Karaminsky, Bizimani, Shivalush, Klychevskoy, Alade, and Ebiko. That's a lot of volcanoes right there going off. All right. As we scroll on down into the 18th, here's Etna with another pyroxysm over here. Okay, so a new phase of violent Strombolian activity has started from the central summit crater. Generating an ash cloud propagating where? Any higher? Okay, I wanted an elevation. Shivalush that we were just looking at. We were talking about a 2 double vented volcano, 28,000 feet. Okay. 7 rocks the place. We get hit with the geomagnetic storm, passage of an object, rocks the place with the 7, and triggers this volcanic explosion of 2 mountain peaks with a plume 28,000 feet. No big deal. Moving right along. Massive amounts of magnificent volcanic lightning during the massive eruption. That was a pretty evil looking picture. I won't pop it up. But let's continue on, because here we are at Ebiko, tomato, 12,000 feet. Sakurajima, 8,000. IBU at 7,000. Semaru, 15. Where to go? There it is. Thank you. Dukono, 8,000. White Island, still continuous low-level eruptions. Fuego, Sangay, Reventador back on the map with 14. Sabancaya at 25,000. Okay. Now, when looking at these lists, do not let this desensitize you. You are looking at sheer insanity. Okay. I don't want to be too alarmist, but the sense of urgency that I would like to add to this, well, you'd probably leave the channel. So, this is insanity. These are currently erupting, okay? All these are currently erupting. Any one of these can hop over here with one little burp of pressure from down below. Alade here, new on the list, okay? Etna doing its thing again. You know, we read about these blasts and their heights all the time, but Krakatoa, let's open that one up real quick. Here's Krakatoa, for instance. On April 19th, lowered alert level Krakatoa to 2 on a scale of 1 to 4. We can click on each one of these and see what's going on with them. Luatobi, Luatolo, Merapi on Java, Popocatépetl in Mexico, Reventador, Sabancaya, Sakurajima, Sangay, Santo Guido, Semaru on Java, and now Shivalush, 28,000 feet of the Kamchatka. Stromboli, Suwanosejima. So these lists are crazy. Now, this is 65 active volcanoes on the surface above water. You got to double this list if 2/3 of the planet's underwater. So 65 times 2 is, well, 130. We're talking 130 underneath the water and 65 above. That's 185, something like that, all over the planet. You know, you come over here and you look at this and you think of all the volcanoes that are here. Where's that map? Okay. This map is above water. That map is below water. And then we come up here. All this hot water going to be melting ice in this area. Okay, there's your volcanic report. All right. Now, with all that ash and all that moisture being added to the air, it increases our weather activity, and our weather is slowly but surely going off the hook. So I'm just going to load that up real quick and take a moment to thank you for being so patient to make it to this part of the show. I've been trying to go as fast as I can, if you can't tell. All right, now, while that's loading up, most of this activity after 3 days out is kind of, well, hit and miss, okay, because there's so many factors coming in and changing things up. So let's get to the beginning here. Bingo. All right, our current conditions, nighttime of August 18th. All right. No enhancement today because we didn't have our geomagnetic storm, so that was good. As we go into the morning of the 19th, noon, convection, little spots of yellow in this convection back up in there, and then nighttime, and then it blossoms a little bit more at night right through the Rockies, a little bit down here, well, out through the plains, sorry, there. Tomorrow night, so that'll be the nighttime of tomorrow afternoon, and then tomorrow night, just watch these three little spots, maybe even back up in there, even up in here too, careful. These days, you got to just kind of watch your skies, anyways. Then it dissipates by morning of the 20th. There's noon, convection, nighttime the 20th. Morning of the 21st, noon, convection, nighttime. Up here in Canada, watch out the nighttime of the 21st there. Morning of the 22nd, noon, convection, and nighttime. Now, anything after this is kind of, well, up in the air. So we're just going to march through them. Morning of the 23rd, noon, convection, nighttime. 24, noon, convection, nighttime. See this nighttime activity up here in Canada on the 24th? That would be a little bit, I'd start watching this. That's not too far away, the 24th here. So if this continues to do this similar activity up here, you might want to start watching out up in Canada there. But that's nighttime the 24th, going into the morning of the 25th. Noon, convection, nighttime. Morning of the 26th. Ooh, look at that. This whole arm right here reaches down and then hits cold air in the morning of the 26th and blossoms right there at Michigan, Wisconsin. That'll be the noon time of the 26th. Night or convection, and then nighttime. Morning of the 27th, noon, convection, nighttime. Morning of the 28th, noon, convection, nighttime. Wow. See what I'm talking about? All this cold air. See how these lows, these comma-shaped lows are wrapping it up here? Here comes another low right there. There's the morning of the 29th, noon, convection, nighttime. Up there in Canada still. Morning of the 30th, noon, convection, nighttime. 31st, noon, convection, nighttime. First, noon, convection. Finally, convection there a little bit, but that's way out there. All right, that pattern that up in Canada, for all you people that are here, not many Canadians in my audience, but you have family members, you know people up in that area, watch out. You see that kind of activity that just happened there? That's an example. It's an example of what's starting to happen. It might not conform to it exactly, but that is the kind of weather pattern that I'm trying to warn you guys about up there in Canada. You guys are inheriting this new tornado alley type effect with your cooler air up there. We're getting all kinds of hot, moist air and rain and humidity, but that humidity, in order to have violent storms or intense storms, needs cold air. Otherwise, it's just going to rain and be all muggy, right? But when moist, warm air collides with colder air, that's when you get your severe weather, okay? And that's where your severe weather is happening, is way up north now, because we have, well, not all the way in Canada, but like right here. Move my finger right there. Everything from about that line up is where our cooler air is. and now you start to see more of our severe weather activity starting to take place way up there. Okay, so everybody kind of north of this line right here, watch your weather carefully. Even the people in the south of this too, but I'm just kind of trying to show you where your cold air barrier, your line is, and this warm moist flow keeps coming up from here, running into low pressure systems that take it up into Canada. High alert for Canada, you guys. Now, there's your weather. We're done. Now it's a lot to take in. Okay, a lot of people's lives are being changed with this wild weather. I keep showing you in the intros this devastation. I'm not trying to scare you with it. I'm trying to show you what the results are and where it happens. When we say watch out for weather here, go check your gullies in your backyard, and then the next day I show somebody's backyard washed out because, well, I didn't listen to the warnings. All right. So it's important that you understand your storm potential is just increasing with each day. Each volcanic blast, your storm capacity, your storm potential increases. Okay. All right. Enough of that. It can be disturbing, and we got to take a break from it. There's all your astrophysics, your geophysics, and now it's time for your metaphysics, which means your physics, the physics of your mind, what you need to remain calm during this time frame. Okay, so we're going to start pulling up some images here, some other stuff really quick here. Actually, that will be albums. Oh, Gary Franchi when he had a mustache and beard. Okay, that's one thing we read to. Get rid of instruments. Something else we could get into here just real quick. My channel, please. Videos. Let's just watch this one for a second here. Okay. What's going on here is I'm here on my knees. I'm crying and screaming and praying, all three at once. The date, October 5th, 2017. This is 12 days after the Revelation 12 star alignment. Okay, the Revelation 12 star alignment actually took place. The birth took place, and then this took place. Anguish, paranormal traumatic event happened to me. Something leave that there for just a sec. You guys wouldn't believe it, so I told you. So I'm going to show you instead. So in this image here, I'm sitting here praying, and Mary's head appears right next to my head, and we're going to zoom in on this. I can't go in too tight on it, but she's looking down at my head this way. Let's see, there's pretty good. And you can make out her eye and her nose coming down, her shawl coming over, and it's in shadow right here. This is a shadow of the inside of her shawl going over her head like this. Here's her eye, her nose, her other eye would be on the other side there. Okay. You can't go in too tight on it. And then also is this white ball with an eye in it, this white orb with an eye in it. Okay, and that's not all, because over here in this corner up here is an angel, the silhouette of an angel with his wings spread, with his back to us, standing in a shaft of light. Here's his head, there's a glow over the head, the wings are extended, and there's a feather coming off. The last feather coming off is crossing over these brown roof tiles in the background here, and you can make out there's an angel right here, and you can even see his head right here. Going a little bit tighter. So
There's the angel with his back to us and his wings spread. Yeah, you can see a lot better with the filter. Before it was really faint and it was hard to see. Same with this. This came out a little bit better here.
Okay, hopefully you can see Mary's face there. She's looking down my head. I'm in anguish. Some paranormal activity, and this is what happened the night before. And I didn't find it for years later, but this is what happened. This is why I was in anguish that night. Well,
Same display right here.
this happened, and then
this was actually captured the day before the other picture, but I hadn't found.
See October 4th up here, 2017. That's 11 days after the Revelation 12 sign. She was pregnant. She was about to give birth, and the dragon stood in front of her 13 days before. I showed you that. And then this happens.
Years later, until I was digging around through my, my old pictures and stuff, and went even further back to see if I'd missed anything, and I captured this one. And we're gonna zoom into this streak right up here, this one right here. Just bear with me for a second here. Now, hopefully you can see that we have a lady's profile here. Here's her eye, here's her forehead, her snub little nose, here's the bottom jaw, she's smiling, she's looking down and she's holding a baby, and here's the baby's head right here. Here's the face, the back of the head, here's her arm cupped around like this, and she's holding the baby. Now I'm gonna run this through the filter real quick, and it's gonna enhance it, but a little bit too much. See, now you can really make out her profile a lot better and see her face, and her headdress is coming over and going down back behind her, and you can still make out the baby's head right here. And maybe if I pull back a little bit, there we go. And this was captured on October 4th, so this was about 11 days after the Revelation 12 sign.
Okay, so 11 days after the star alignment, something happened to me. Okay, this event took place. I didn't know about this for 2 years later. The very next night, I reported on the Nemesis Nibiru object, and afterwards, I was a mess, and I ran out to the garage and just collapsed on the floor. And here I am, crying, screaming, and praying. All right. So the night before, that thing was born in here, right? And then the next night, I reported on the dragon, and then this happened. Okay, what you're looking at here is an anointing ceremony. Okay, this isn't a Catholic thing. It's different. She's the mother of Jesus, right? And where there's an angel and there's God and there's Mary, well, usually Jesus is in the picture too. Well, he is if you know what to look for. Okay, so there's that event. All right, and when I keep saying this all started 7 years ago, this is what I'm talking about. Okay, and let's go back to really what it started off with was the wake-up call. I'm gonna put that in just really quick, and then we'll go to our reading. You guys are patient, but every once in a while we got to rehash this stuff so you guys get a good timeline of what happened, how it happened, and who it happened to. Okay, this image right here was stuck on my computer when I came home. I didn't even turn on my computer. I didn't click on anything. I just came home and this image was on my computer. I was following the three. There were 2 X flares just previous to this event in this video. There's one right there. Seeing the pop up right there? That was like an X10. Then there was another one. Whoops. Come on, hand. Lord, guide my hand, please. There was a second one, all right? Anyways, this was the third in a series of X flares, and this one wasn't as powerful, so I poo-pooed it. Well, I looked at this sitting on my screen, and I'm like, oh, that's that third X flare, and I went to turn away, and I heard a voice say, Brian, there's something wrong with that image. Now, this is like a thought inside your head, okay? But I never, ever, ever refer to myself in the third person when I'm thinking. When you guys think, oh, I think I'm hungry. I think I'm gonna have a sandwich. I think I'm gonna have a soda with that. It's gonna be a ham sandwich with mayonnaise and cheese. That's how you're thinking. Do you ever speak to yourself in the third person? Does your brain ever call your name out and then tell you something is wrong with this image? And it took me forever to see it. Okay, I struggled with this for a while, but you're looking at Nibiru right here, this round black object right here, surrounded by plasma. It's got a little wing coming off on this side and a wing coming off on this side. Now, let me tell you something. I was never a Nibiru guy, all right? I had UFO encounters ever since I was a kid, and I was a ufologist, okay, at this point. I had heard of Nibiru. I heard of the tales. I seen everybody's lens flares, everybody's supposed captures of lens flares. Oh, it's here, it's there. Well, they all missed the dragon. Everybody saw the star alignment because they saw it coming, okay? Now, they missed the dragon because in the Revelation it says, first the woman, then another sign appeared, a great red dragon. That makes it sound like the dragon appeared after the star alignment. But if you read it in its entirety, it says the dragon stood in front of the woman or before the woman. We have to translate that word. It stood before the woman. 13 days. Here are the 10th. This is September 10th of 2017, 13 days before the Revelation 12 star alignment. The dragon stood in front of the woman. Let me go ahead and finish playing this really quick with the volume so you can hear this. Let's go full screen as well. All right, you guys ready? Hang on. This is the real
Here's
deal.
our object right here. Looks like Nibiru. It's got a wing coming off on this side and a wing coming off on that side. And that's not all, because behind that is this big object right here. This is what's causing our flares. Here's a conduit of plasma that is sucking off of our sun, going into this planet. Here's a damage ring or an impact zone on this planet right here. You can see Nibiru sticking out in front of it here.
Okay. Nibiru and Nemesis. This bigger object is still back behind the sun. The sun is represented by this white circle. This object is much bigger than our sun. Our binary twin, whatever you want to call it, it matches the definition of many different celestial objects. But you can see what it's doing. Okay, it's ripping plasma off the sun. It's draping over the object, the spherical round. Remember, this is a ball out there, and you can see the plasma hitting it and splashing and bending and going over it. Okay, this is the dragon that everybody missed. Okay, there's the dragon of Revelation 12 standing in front of the woman, before the woman, 13 days before. Okay, God showed me this. All right, we struggled for a long time to see this image. It was too big in your face when I had the image. The image I was looking at was so zoomed in you couldn't even see this. It wasn't until I saw it in the pop-up down below here. See how it compresses the image? Where's my zoom? Well, I can't do zoom on this, but imagine if the camera, this thing was way up in your face and you couldn't see it. It wasn't until I compressed the image and stepped back. He's telling me, think the big picture, think the big picture. And I'm like, oh, the big picture. Oh, zoom in. So I would zoom in. No. The big picture. You have to zoom out to see the big picture. This is in a different dimension. You're a different dimension back. Okay? Yeah, incredible catch, except when you understand what this thing is, it's a very scary catch. Okay? And I was told to warn everybody about this. Okay, and that's the day my life changed. I had to sacrifice my good word, my standing in society, my kids, my wife, my family, everybody thinks I'm crazy, but unfortunately, it's the truth. And there's that on September 10th, 2017. Okay. And then I just showed you October 4th. That's 11 days. Well, it's a month after this event. So this 13 days later, the woman in the stars, then 11 days later, the baby, and then the next day, the anointing. Okay. Understand that? You guys got all that? Cool. Because I've been through and back because of this, and nobody even taken 5 minutes to hear me out or take a peek or look or listen. And they're missing out on the best thing going on in the universe. When I showed doctors this little angel.
Run this backwards.
Oops. Hang on.
See.
Let's go back here really quick. Got a couple of little explaining things to do, I guess. Just doing what he's telling me. This little angel, such a beautiful image, again captured by the security camera.
This is
okay, tilt your head to the right. That means to your right hand shoulder. Every time I've tried to show this to somebody officially, I tell them, tilt your head to the right because this image is at an angle. All right. And when you tilt your head that way, it helps you see it. They all tilt their head to the left. No wonder why they didn't see it. Try tilting your head to the left and see if you can see this image. You can't. So I went through years of agony because nobody would give 5 minutes to look at this. And I told them, I'm not seeing angels. I captured angels that you can see. Oh, you're seeing angels, huh? No, I captured them on my security camera, and you can see them. Nope, off to the mental hospital, off to jail. What? No, we're not going to entertain your delusions. And it's not a delusion, and you're not entertaining it. It's for your own good, doc. Finally, after years and years and years, I finally got the doctor to turn his head to the right direction, and I see his jaw open. Oh, you see it? You see the wings? And mouth open, nodding. Oh, you see the legs right here? Mouth nodding. I go, oh, doc, we're gonna have to take you away. You're seeing angels now. Huh? Yeah. You see what you did to me? And that's when he swallowed hard and realized everything that he'd done to me. And all I was trying to do was show
on my security cameras
a beautiful image.
I've run it through the filter here. So if you turn your head to the right, about 45 degrees, you can make out the head, the hair, the breasts. It's a female, the torso, the waist, the legs coming down here, a wing coming off here, a wing coming off over here. And we'll zoom in on this real quick because this one's nice and clear that you can. Okay, and this is an angel that was caught hovering in a shaft of light over this sleeping child down below here. So, zoom in on it again.
Okay, there's a beautiful image. That's the spiritual realm. Okay, the divine realm captured on a security camera. This is admissible as evidence in a court of law. Okay, there's even this weird little demon face back here in the background too, if you're paying attention. All right, so this is really going on. This is a real image of a camera that's admissible as evidence. It's not a doctored image. This is the real spiritual realm. And couldn't get anybody's attention for a long time. But you guys give me some of your time. So that's why we do this. Okay. So remember, there's angels all around you. Remember, somebody's here already. In the clouds, captured in the clouds on Easter, watching over you. Okay? I happen to know this guy personally. I know this guy. I know him personally because he's me. All right, we come over here to this heart video. And they lost a bunch. They were like, we waited all this time for the reading and I was doing all this stuff. All right.
Read.
There we go. Actually, it's a little bit too close. There we go. All right, let me pull out the light. Everybody take a deep breath. Relax. Made it to this part. Um, we struggle with a lot of stuff these days, don't we? We got a lot of spiritual events going on as far as wars, a lot of deception going on from your media, your politicians, all that great stuff, right? And it can be it can be depressing. It can get you down every once in a while. You know, we fight our spiritual battles each day, trying to salvage a day, and then to have in the background all of that other ugly stuff can still make you feel a little downcast, right? And we got to overcome that too as well. So not only do we have like that human in the background, we got all the other stuff in the background that's really fighting you. All this stuff is trying to make you feel anxious and depressed, okay? And that's why it's important that we understand it's all for a purpose, okay? Now, I know sometimes we feel downcast, okay? And I want you to know that when you are feeling downcast, the best remedy is to remember me. Think about who I am, your Lord and your God, your Savior and Shepherd, the friend who will never leave you. I am fully aware of every circumstance as well as all your thoughts and feelings. Now, everything about you is important to me because you are precious to me. Remember the many ways I have taken care of you and helped you? Thank me for each one that comes to mind and relax in my loving presence. Tell me about the things that are weighing you down. Though I know all about them already, it's your voicing them to me that provides relief from the heavy load you've been carrying. Okay? I know about them, but it's you voicing them. It's you voicing them. It's you voicing them that provides relief. Okay? When you finally blurt it out and you're like, Lord, help me, this is weighing me down. Now we're making progress. Okay? I provide the relief from the heavy load that you've been carrying. You need to give that load to me. You need to put that stuff on me because I know exactly what to do with them. I make beautiful, you and I overcome them together and we make beautiful collages together. I want you to tell me about the things that are weighing you down. It's your voicing them that provides the relief. Okay? In the light of my presence, you will see things more clearly. Together, you and I can sort out what is important and what is not. Also, as you linger with me, my face shines upon you. Should have pulled up the one with the moon, huh? But we're not going to go there. Because you already seen that one. You know that my face shines upon you. Okay? Think about the stuff that all the blessings that you have. All right? And then thank me for each one that comes to mind and relax in my loving presence. All right? This loving presence, that heart of love right there. That image is too close up. Let's go right about there. Maybe that's a little bit better, a little further out. I want just right about there so you guys can see it just right. On this face. There we go. I want you to be able to see that heart. I want you to relax in my loving presence. Okay? In the light of my presence, you see things more clearly, don't you? It's when you find out together, you and I are sorting out what's important and what's not. Right now, as you linger with me, my face shines upon you, blessing, encouraging, and comforting you. I assure you that you will again Praise me for the help of my presence. I am gracious and compassionate. Okay, that's a compassionate heart right there. Okay, I am gracious and compassionate, slow to anger, and rich in love. Explore the wonders of grace, unmerited favor lavished upon you through my finished work on the cross. By grace, you have been saved through faith, and that not of yourself. It's a gift. It's a gift from me. What's more, my compassions never fail. They are new every day. When you find out, you start working each day, you'll find out that my compassions are new each day. So begin each day expectantly, ready to receive fresh compassions. Now, don't let yesterday's failures weigh you down. Learn from your mistakes and confess your known sins, but don't let those become your focus. Instead, keep your focus and your eyes on me. Remember, I am slow to anger, so don't be quick to judge yourself. Ah, ha, 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 ha. There we go. Does that help? I am slow to anger, so you don't be quick to judge yourself or others. Okay? Don't be quick to judge others. Don't be quick to judge yourself. Remember, I am slow to anger, so don't be quick. Don't be quick to judge others or yourself. Otherwise, well, instead, just rejoice that I am rich in love. In fact, I am rich in love. Okay? You see that heart right there? That's pretty rich in love, wouldn't you say? In fact, love is at the very core of who I am. Love is at the very core of who I am. Seek my face, you'll find out who I am. I am slow to anger, so don't be quick to judge yourself and others. Rejoice that I am rich in love and that you, in fact, love is the very core of who I am, and your growth in grace involves learning to be more attentive to me, more receptive to my loving presence. And this requires vigilant effort because the evil ones despise your closeness to me. So strive to stay alert and remember, there is no condemnation for those who belong to me. Okay? No condemnation for you. You belong to me. I am gracious and compassionate. I'm slow to anger, so don't be quick to judge yourself or others. I get sucked into that too. I'm here with you going through the same experience as you are, so I get pulled into this stuff too. This stuff is fresh off the street. This is what I struggled with today myself. And I can feel you guys going through the very same things. That's why I'm digging these notes and I find this information so I can pull it out and give you real meat. I'm always thinking about you, okay? That's why you come to me and rest in my presence. I am constantly thinking about you, and I want you to become increasingly mindful of me. Awareness of my presence here now can give you rest even when you're busy. Sounds crazy, but try it out. When you know that I am here now, walking around as a man in the flesh, you can't How are they going to disprove that when I walk up in as an actual man and shake your hand? That's going to be a trip. Yeah, all of a sudden. So I am with you, okay? I'm constantly thinking about you. Awareness of my presence. I'm here now, okay? You're all good. I'm here. You're aware now that I have returned. You trust me. You find that the more trust in me, the more peace you get, right? So if I am who I say I am, and your awareness of my presence is giving you rest even when you're busy. And inner peacefulness flows out of knowing that I am with you. Doesn't it? Doesn't it? Don't you get this inner peace knowing that I'm here now? An inner peacefulness flows out of knowing that I am now with you. This knowledge of me, my presence here now, permeates your heart, mind, and spirit, and it can fill you with deep joy. Okay? Followers on Facebook, followers on TikTok, followers. You follow me on YouTube, right? You're subscribed, you watch my videos, you hear, so you're a follower. And many of my followers are focused on the problems they see and the predictions they hear, that they lose their joy. It becomes buried under multiple layers of worry and fear. So when you realize that this has happened, that you've become buried under multiple layers of worry and fear, when you realize that those layers are starting to compound, and that this is happening, you need to bring your concerns to me. Talk with me about each one, seeking my help and guidance. It's not just talking about each one, you also need to seek my help and guidance. Ask me to remove those anxious layers that have buried your joy. Okay? Ask me to remove those layers, those anxious layers, those worry layers, those layers of fear. They have a layer of worry with a layer of anxious on top of it, right? So we got all these layers, multiple layers of worry, fear, and anxious. Ask me, just ask me to remove those layers that have buried your joy. And as you entrust your concerns into my care and keeping, your joy will begin to emerge again. Nurture this gladness, this joy, by speaking and singing praises to me. What else we got here? Uh-oh, I guess I just read the closer. Because that one is that. Okay, yeah, that was our message for tonight. When you're feeling downcast, your best remedy is to think of me. When those layers of anxiety, fear, worry, ask me, I'll remove them. Okay? I'm the friend who will never leave you. When you realize my loving presence, you can relax. Know that I'm gracious and compassionate and slow to anger, so don't be quick to judge yourself and others. Remember that I'm rich in love. Love is the very core of who I am. Okay? Your growth involves learning to be more attentive. Your growth in grace. Circle that word, grace. You grow in grace when you're attentive to my loving presence. And that requires vigilant effort because the evil one despises your closeness. Remember, no condemnation for those who are in me. I'm constantly thinking about you. Your awareness of my presence can give you rest. It does give you rest, doesn't it? Awareness of my presence here now gives you rest, doesn't it? Even when you're busy, that inner peacefulness flows out of knowing that I am now present with you. The knowledge of my presence now permeates your heart, mind, and spirit. My followers sometimes focused on problems they see and the predictions they hear. It causes you to stress and get anxiety. It makes layers of worry and fear and anxiety. So, entrust your concerns to me. Ask me to remove those layers. And when they are removed and you start to regain your joy again, you put your care into my keeping, your joy begins to emerge again. Nurture that gladness by speaking praises or singing to the King of Glory who loves you eternally. That's it for tonight, you guys. I love you guys. I miss you guys. I got lots more for you still, so keep coming back, all right? Oh, let me just say thank you to Leslie and Jimmy and Lizard Hunter and Angel Wings and Michelle and Marcia. We got Jimmy, all the beautiful people who love me. I love you guys. You know, you're looking at me in the clouds. That's me coming in the clouds. Brian Knight is coming. Brian Knight is coming. I'm coming. I'm coming in the clouds. Here's me coming in the clouds with power and great glory. When you look up and you see me coming in the clouds, you get caught up in it like a good book, like a good song, like a good live stream, YouTube live stream, right? Or getting caught up in TikTok. You look at one little simple video, and 4 hours later, you're popping out of TikTok going, where have I been for the last 4 hours? You were caught up in TikTok. Well, much like being caught up in a good book or a good movie, caught up in TikTok, you are fascinated or caught up with me in the clouds. This is me in the clouds, and you're caught up with me in the clouds. See that? You see how I did that? And I can't physically come over. I'm kind of disabled a little bit, a little rickety right now. I can't come over and give you a hug. And I really just want to meet with you. So we got to meet in the air for right now. Okay. That means the cyberspace, the live streaming on YouTube. That's how I meet my family in the air. See how I did that too? Okay. You are indeed caught up with me in the clouds. We have indeed met in the air. You are technically, I hate this term, raptured. You are more caught up. You've been harpazo. Okay. You're caught up with me in the cloud. That's your faith has been completed. You now know. I complete your faith. You now know that your prayers have power, that your prayers are heard, that these principles, these disciplines I'm teaching you are to help you find joy in any circumstances. I keep showing these images because I want your brain to grab onto that and latch onto your foundation, your rock. No matter what the media and all these other people try to tell you, you came from Anunnaki, you were manipulated genetically. Focus on the Bible. Focus on my face, okay? You get stressed, take a breather. Pop open this video just to this spot so you can see this. Take a few deep breaths. Remember, I am here with you, going through this with you as we speak. You are in my presence. You get the peace that transcends all your circumstances. You get the joy that overcomes all eventualities. Understand the joy that overcomes all eventualities. All of them. You are secure. You're safe. You're good. The more you trust in me, the more peace in proportion you get. The more you lean on me, the more peace you get. It's proportional. If you lean just a little bit, well, you're only going to get a little bit of peace. But if you lean all the way in, you're going to find all the full peace you can. Okay? It's a real event. We're really there. These things are really happening. Okay? I'm the real guy. All right? Just a normal guy until all this stuff started happening to me. All right? And then I'm trying to be as humble as I can about this. You can't just come out and say, hey, I'm a humble guy. Well, that doesn't make you humble. I'm trying to be as humble as I can about all this. It's been a very long, painful, suffering road. And I am thankful for the time that you give me. Okay? This whole time, all the time I served, all the different institutions I went through, all I was looking for was somebody's just 5 minutes of their time, just a couple seconds of their time, just please look for a second, so you understand that I'm not telling you, that I'm telling you the truth, that I'm not crazy. Okay, you guys are doing awesome. You're really finding the results. Don't give up. Every day, even if you don't get your results that day, just keep going. Okay. Sometimes we need to take a nap or sleep in between. If you're making progress and keep getting shot down and shot down and shot down, you can't handle it anymore. Take a break, take a nap, wake up and start again. All right. We are in the salvage business. Okay. You got to salvage our day. You have to be that light that shines into others' lives. And when you're irritated, you're a black light. Well, we want white light. Okay. So you have to recover your day first, be in that positive mood so you can shine that light into others' lives and teach them how you did it. How did you salvage your day? How are you able to? I saw what happened. You just got a speeding ticket. How come you're not all mad? Well, because I know it's just part of a bigger process and it's not that big a deal. And you are able to handle things much better than most people are able to. Okay. I use it myself. It helps. You guys use it too. You find the help. You see how this works. We are indeed in the salvage business. You are doing awesome. Okay? It's progress, not perfection. Okay? You got to invite me into it, and then we make progress. When you invite me into it, now we've made perfection. Okay? So remember, try to include me into it. You get pulled away, that's okay. Take a break, calm down, regain composure, find me again, and then I will show you the way forward. It's also a filter in which you run through information that comes in at you. When you see stuff coming in at the news, who's it coming from? The known liars? Oh, so you're going to trust the news that they're reporting on? What? So you got to see through the deception, and this enables you to now. Okay? I give you the keys to be able to see through the deception. Okay? And when you understand this and you have any questions, ask the Holy Spirit. Ask the Holy Spirit if this is real. Okay? Go pray, go to your quiet place and ask the Holy Spirit if I'm telling you the truth, if I'm showing you the truth. I am the truth. This is the truth. You guys have the truth. You are the elite. The other elite are a bunch of criminals. But you're the ones that gave me a moment of your time, and you are finding results. I love you guys. I miss you guys. And until my next show, I will be back. I'm a man of my word, made flesh, walking amongst you. I miss you guys. And until my next show, I will be back. I am already back and still to come. And I love you. Bye.